the chainsaw's just jammed with a bit of tallow wood bark, so it's a good time to stop and have a rest and give a bit of an update on what's happened here. So on Christmas Day, or Christmas Day Eve, Boxing Day Eve I guess, there was what's been categorised as a Category 2 or a Force 2 tornado came through here. Winds up to about 170 kilometres an hour, and it's made a real mess. It really has. We're actually probably on the edge of the path. It came from southwest of us, or west-southwest, through Jimboomba, through Mount Tamborine and up over Wongawallan where we are, and it's made a mess of most of the Gold Coast, or a lot of the Gold Coast. I think probably Wongawallan and Oxenford, Coomera, I'm guessing is probably the worst hit. I haven't been out for a look around. We were actually up in Noosa with family for Christmas when it came through, so we didn't see the storm, which was fortunate because it would have been scary in our house up on stilts. Neighbours said it was terrifying, and we've got a lot of branches, big branches, and a lot of trees, or one big tree down, but mostly branches down. Our house has survived unscathed pretty well. We lost a shade structure and some fencing, and otherwise our house seems to be probably one of the better around. Most of our neighbours have had some sort of damage across the road. They've had their roof caved in an area, or bashed in an area that going to need to be replaced. Next door wasn't too bad. I think their deck is damaged, but the guys next door to them have had a tree right through their roof that's been destroyed, so they're off staying with parents, I think. A couple of houses, which is our entryway in, have lost their roofs. And I'll show you, we weren't here for the cleanup, but most of that road in was covered in branches and trees and inaccessible. So the neighbourhood got out and cleared that on the day, and it's a mess up there now. I think council is saying they'll get around at some stage to pick up all the debris if we can get it up onto the curbside. I'm not too sure how I'm going to go, whether I do that or get a mulcher in and try and mulch a lot of it. There's a lot here. I don't know how much this camera's going to pick up. I've done a fly through with the drone, so I'll show you that. Like I say, our block isn't as bad as a lot, but it's a mess. Power has been off since Christmas Day, and it's still off. I suspect, I think there was 120 odd houses, 120,000 I suppose houses had lost power Christmas Day, Boxing Day. They've got most of them back on. I think there's still about 25,000 still without power. They were hoping to have most of them, Energex was hoping to have most of them back up by the end of today, but they haven't even started on our area. And looking at the road in, at how messy it is, and how much foliage there is, I don't think they're going to have power on for quite a long time, so we're without power. Fortunately today's about 28 degrees, so it's not as hot as it has been. It was 36, 37, 38 the few days before that, and it was just too hot to get out and do anything, so we just left it. And it's not going to clean up itself, so I've got to try and do it now. But it is a mess, and I think it's going to take a few weeks. I've got our biggest tree down is through here. This ground's a bit ticky and snaky, so I just need to be a bit careful, but I'll turn the camera around. So this big tallow wood has come down from next door. Amazingly, it hasn't really taken out the fence here. It's a little bit of damage, but it's taken out the fence up on the side there. And I don't know how we're going to get to this. This ground is so steep. And even that little one that I'm just trying to deal with up the hill is massive. So these guys have got a lot more down than we have. They've got 2 huge gums down through there and a bunch of big trees down. And this tallowood's obviously on their block as well. But they've got massive trees down there which they won't be able to deal with by themselves. I've got no idea with insurance. We haven't looked at our insurance yet, whether insurance is going to help or can help cleaning up some of the dangerous stuff. But I think most of it's going to be up to us. I've got a couple of big branches I need to try and deal with. I'll see if I can pull them out with the tractor, or just lodge them with the tractor, and I'll cut down whatever I can. At least whatever's safe to cut down. But there's a lot of work here, so not much chance of, I don't think there's going to be much chance of any of us in the neighbourhood staying up for midnight tonight. Everyone's going to be too exhausted. So even though it's only 28, I think it's 28 now, it's a bit cloudy, so it's a little bit cooler, but it's still exhausting. But I'll just see if I can turn that around and show up the hill, see how well that sort of shows what we're dealing with. The slope doesn't help. Plenty of firewood, not that we're short of firewood, but there's plenty there. And I'm glad I've got this little tractor. I think this little tractor, little Kubota tractor that I've got is going to be really useful. Well, it already has been. But yeah, so that's us. There's another shot here. I'd be surprised if the camera really picks up the extent of how much mess there is. But like I say, ours isn't as bad as a lot of them. We just got a lot of trees, a lot of branches to deal with, so there's a lot worse. And if you can, I don't know if you can hear the cicadas. We've got the generator running up top there, you might be able to hear. And there's a lot of cicadas around because of the heat, I guess. They're very noisy. But, one of the big problems here now is because we've got none of us are on mains water or main sewage. We've all got our own sewage systems and our own water tanks. We're on tank water. Without power, most people have got no sewage, and everyone's had to go and rush out and buy generators. I already had a fairly decent little 5.5 kVA diesel generator, so I was pretty lucky. And our septic system is not hardwired into the power, so I can plug our septic in, but most of our neighbours, their septics are hardwired, so they've got no sewage. And like I say, I think we're going to be without power for at least another week, 2 weeks maybe, because it's just such a mess up on the road. And the Energex guys have been trying to get all the heavily populated areas on, I guess, and all of the shopping centres on. So our little backwoods is going to be probably last to get looked at, even though we're probably in a more desperate situation because we've got no, like I say, a lot of the guys have got no sewage and so on, so it gets a bit of a health issue. Anyway, I need to go and clear the bark out of my chainsaw and keep cutting because there's a lot to do, and then I'll try and get a couple of those big hanging branches. There's one up there which I'll show it on. It'll come up on the drone footage, but I don't know how to deal with that. I can't see us getting arborist in for a long time because there's so many trees down, so a lot of this we're going to have to deal with. Just got to try and find a safe way of dealing with it so don't add tragedy to the mess. So anyway, all good fun. Happy New Year. I think we'll have a few beers this afternoon, but I don't think they'll last long. I think all of us will be in the cot pretty early. So, yeah, Happy New Year and have a great 2024, everyone. I think it's interesting to see what it turns out like. Cheers. So it is New Year's Day, and well, New Year's morning. It's about 10:30, and there's a bit of an ease in the weather, and I can tell you it's been raining here since about 5 o'clock this morning, and it's been torrential rain for New Year's Day. And I don't know how well you can see that rain gauge there, but the top gauge is 150 mil. I think it's up at about 170, so we've had about 165, 170 mil since 5 a.m. this morning, so in 5.5 hours. Needless to say, we're not doing any more cleanup. We've done about a third or maybe a quarter of the block, and it's not looking too bad. Down one little bit, and the front's not looking too bad, but the rain is going to stop Energex from putting the power back on. It's disrupted quite a few things, and it has been torrential. And they're forecasting more all day today and most of tomorrow, I think. So the council got in strife for not getting the weather warnings out when the storm came through Christmas Day. So we've had 6 texts this morning after it started raining from council saying severe weather warnings, and they were forecasting up to about 200 mil. But gosh, we've had like I say, 165, 170 mil in 5.5 hours. So who knows where this is going to go.